Welcome to today's Sutta study. So today I came across a very beautiful sutta and I thought I should share it with you. So this sutta is found in the Anguttara Nikaya and it's found in the book of the Ninth. And the Pali name of this sutta is called Balasangahavattu Sutta. Okay. In English, it's translated, I guess, as simply as powers. Okay, so it's a very interesting sutta which talks about many points that we have not discussed so far in these sutta studies. Okay, so our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha, in this sutta teaches bhikkhus. There are these because there are these four powers. How many powers are there? There are four powers. What for? The power of wisdom, the power of energy, the power of blamelessness, and the power of sustaining a favorable relationship. Okay, so now we have not heard about these powers before. We have heard about other powers before. Okay, we have learned about the powers of a trainee, right? We have learned the powers you need to be reborn in the heavenly world, okay, which are Saddha, Sila, Sutta, Chagapanya, right? So we have learned about those powers, but we have not learned about these four powers. So these four powers are also four powers that are built within a Supreme Buddha's disciple. So now let's learn what these powers are. So what are the four powers? The power of wisdom, the power of energy, the power of blamelessness, and the power of sustaining a favorable relationship. So that is the way it's translated. So the Surimati teaches, because what is the power of wisdom? Okay, what is the power of wisdom? And the Surimati explains, one has clearly seen and explored with wisdom those qualities that are unwholesome and reckoned as unwholesome. Those that are wholesome and reckoned as wholesome. Those that are blamable and reckoned as blamable, and those that are blameless and reckoned as blameless. So what that means is, remember the teachers, if a person clearly sees what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. What is that called? It's called, so he understands what is wholesome and unwholesome through now if a person has the ability to understand what's wholesome and unwholesome, that is called wisdom. Understand? And if a person has the ability to understand what is blameless and what is blameful, that is called wisdom. If a person can clearly recognize things that are considered to be dark and things that are considered to be bright, and if a person has the ability to understand what should be cultivated and what should not be cultivated, and if a person has the ability to understand what is worthy and what is unworthy, okay, then the Supreme Buddha teaches that is called the power of wisdom. Okay? So if a person has the ability to understand the right from wrong, the wholesome from unwholesome, the dark from the bright, that means things that are considered to be dark are things that are unwholesome, right? And things that are considered to be bright are things that are wholesome. Okay? If a person understands what is blameless and what is blameful, then that ability to understand, just remember the teachers, that is understood by the power of wisdom. Okay? So then we can see then a person clearly understand the right from wrong only if he has wisdom within. Okay? And through that wisdom, he understands the right from wrong. So then if a person does not know, does not realize, these things are considered to be blameful. These things are considered to be unwholesome. These things are considered to be wrong. These things are considered to be the wrong path. Okay? If a person does not understand that, then what does that mean?
Ignorance.
Yeah. So it's the lack of wisdom, which is of course based rooted by ignorance. Yeah. Okay. So it's the lack of wisdom. It's that lack of wisdom that does not make him understand the right from wrong. Okay? So if a person does not clearly understand the right from wrong, then can that person develop any further? He can't. Right? So this remember the teachers, killing is unwholesome. Stealing is unwholesome. Engaging in sexual misconduct is unwholesome. It's wrong. It's a wrong path. It's dark. It's blameful. Lying is unwholesome. It's blameful. It's the wrong path. It's unrighteous. Drinking, taking drinks, alcoholic drinks and drugs is wrong. It's a wrong path. It's unwholesome. Okay, so if a person can understand that, okay, this is a wrong thing. This leads to what is wrong, that what is blameful, then that person understands that because that person has wisdom. So those who has wisdom understands this. Those who does not have wisdom does not understand this. Okay. So remember the teachers, this is so anger is wrong. Anger is unwholesome. Anger is the wrong path. Anger is dark. So if a person understands that, that person understands that through what? Wisdom. Okay. Jealousy is bad. Jealousy is wrong. Jealousy is considered to be blameful. Jealousy is is the unrighteous way. It's unworthy. So if a person understands this, the person understands that through the power of wisdom. Okay. So that is the first power. Okay, power of wisdom. So now you all can relate this to yourself and realize through your own self whether you have this power or not. Okay. Then the second power is called the power of energy. Okay, so that means this remember the teachers. One generates a desire to abandon those qualities that are unwholesome and reckoned as unwholesome. Those are blamable, those are dark, and he makes an effort to develop what is wholesome and cultivate what is wholesome, what is right, what is bright, what is uh, the right path. Okay, so that is called the power of energy. Okay? If a person makes an effort, so of course, in order to develop this second power, that person definitely needs the first power. Without the first power, if he does not know the right from wrong, then how can he make an effort to develop the right develop what is wholesome and abandon what is unwholesome, right? So if a person has that if a person has that first power, then he can develop the second power of effort, which is the effort to develop what is wholesome, cultivate what is good, develop what is righteous and good, the right path, and abandon what is unwholesome, abandon what is wrong, abandon what is dark, and abandon what is blamable. Okay, so if a person has this effort, then so remember the teachers, that is called power of energy, power of effort. Okay, and in one of the suttas, the Supreme Buddha beautifully teaches and explains whether what kind of a person is someone who has this energy and what kind of a person does not have energy. Energy means the effort to cultivate what is wholesome. Okay, because without this effort within us, without this power of effort, can a person develop further in the Dhamma path? Can a person develop? No, he may understand this is wrong. He may understand this is blamable. I shouldn't do this. But to refrain himself from not doing it, what does he need? He needs effort. Right? Without effort, he can't develop further. He may, that's why some people say, I did this, I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't stop myself. Why couldn't he stop himself? Because he didn't have that energy. He didn't have that effort to stop. Right? There are some people who takes alcohol, who uses intoxicating drinks and drugs, and they know it's wrong, but they can't stop it. Why can't they stop it? Because they don't have this power. They don't have this power of effort or energy. So without this power, he can't practice this Dhamma. That's why this virya or effort is uh, such a strong, powerful thing in the Dhamma. Okay, so the normal nature of this mind is the normal nature or the ordinary nature of this mind is it's not effortful, but rather, what is the ordinary nature? It's the opposite of effortful, which is lazy. Now, lazy meaning your mind does not incline towards developing wholesome things. And in one sutta, the Supreme Buddha beautifully explains this. So this is very good for you to relate for yourselves. And the Supreme Buddha teaches bhikkhus, there are these 8 grounds for laziness. Okay, there are these 8 grounds for laziness. What are these 8? Okay, now here a bhikkhu has some work to do. Okay, so a bhikkhu has some work to do, and he thinks, I have some work to do, and when I'm working, I'm going to be very tired. I'm going to feel very tired. So what he does is he lies down and he rests, and he does not arouse energy for the attainment of the as yet unattained, for the achievement of the as yet unachieved, for the realization of the as yet unrealized. This is the first ground for laziness. Okay? So if a person has something to do, he thinks, okay, while I'm doing this work, I'm going to feel very tired. So ahead of time, I should rest, and therefore he rests and he sleeps instead of making an effort to develop wholesome things. Okay, and then remember the teachers, the second ground of laziness is a bhikkhu has done some work. So he has done some work, and it occurs to him, I have done some work, and because I have worked so hard, my body is really tired now. So let me lie down and rest. Okay, let me lie down and rest. And therefore, he doesn't he does not make an effort to achieve what he has not achieved, that is to develop the Dhamma path and achieve the fruits and paths of this dispensation. So his mind inclines towards simply sleeping and resting instead of developing wholesome things. Okay? And then, remember the teachers again, a bhikkhu has to go somewhere. So he has a trip to make. And it occurs to him, oh, I have to go, I have to take a trip. And while traveling, I'm going to be very tired. So I better rest in advance. So thinking like that, what does he do? He again lies down and he sleeps. So he does not arouse energy to attain what he has not attained. Okay. And then once a bhikkhu has gone on the trip and he has returned, he thinks, while traveling, I was very tired. My body is very tired. So let me lie down and let me rest. So even after coming back from the trip, what does he do? Instead of using that time to develop the Dhamma, he sleeps and he rests. Okay. Then, this remember the teachers, then the fifth ground of laziness is a bhikkhu has walked for alms. So he has gone on the alms round. And when he goes on the alms round, he does not get any food. So when he goes on the alms round, he doesn't get any food to eat. So he thinks, oh no, I have gone on the alms round and now I didn't get any food. Now my body is very, very tired. I don't even have anything to eat. So let me lie down and sleep. Okay, so that is the fifth ground for laziness. So now you can relate this to your life. Okay, so if someday, there's no food for you to eat, you've only got very little, then you think, oh, I only had very little. My body is very tired. I should rest a little bit. Okay. Or if you have to go somewhere, if you have a long trip, okay, you think, okay, while I'm going to feel tired. I'll have to, travel for a long time, so I won't be able to sleep or even rest. So I'll rest in advance. Okay, so these are grounds for laziness. So thinking, if a person has these patterns of thinking, then these are lazy ways of thinking. Okay. Then a bhikkhu has gone on the alms round and he has gotten lots of food and he has had lots of food. And then he thinks, oh, I have eaten a lot and now my body feels very heavy. So now then I should rest a little bit. And thinking like that, he sleeps again. He lies down and sleeps. Okay. And then, as remember the teacher, the seventh ground of laziness is a bhikkhu is a little bit ill. And then he thinks, oh, I'm a little ill. I better lie down and rest. And therefore, he does not arouse energy to attain what he has not attained. And then again, a bhikkhu has recovered from an illness. And then soon after recovering, he thinks, oh, I just recovered from illness. I better rest now. I better rest. So thinking like that, because my body is still weak, I better rest. And thinking like that, he lies down again. Okay. So thinking like this thinking pattern, the Supreme Buddha teaches, makes you lazy. Okay. And then the Supreme Buddha teaches what kind of thoughts arise in a bhikkhu who is not lazy, who has effort, who has energy. This is the most important. That is now, this is the teachers, these are the grounds for arousing energy. Now, if a bhikkhu has some work to do, he thinks like this, oh, I have some work to be done, and while working, I won't be able to attend to the Buddha's teaching. Therefore, let me in advance arouse energy for the attainment of the as yet unattained. So see the difference? The lazy person, how did he think? oh, I have lots of work to do, I'm going to feel tired, so I better lie down. But the person who has effort, he thinks, I have some work to do. While I'm doing those things, I won't be able to practice this Dhamma. So I better in advance try to attain what is unattained. So that is the person who is energized. Then second is a bhikkhu has done some work, and after doing that work, he thinks, while I was working, I wasn't able to attend to the teaching of the Buddha. So I better start now. And from that moment on, once he finished the work, he quickly starts to practice the Dhamma. And then a bhikkhu has to make a trip. So he thinks, okay, while I'm making a trip, while I'm traveling, I won't be able to attend to the Buddha's teaching. Therefore, before going on the trip, I better practice the Dhamma and try to attain what is unattained. Okay? And once a bhikkhu has finished his trip and returned, that bhikkhu thinks, I have spent a lot of time traveling, and while traveling, it wasn't possible for me to attend to the Buddha's teaching. Therefore, let me now quickly develop Dhammapada and try to attain what was unattained. So that is the mentality of a person who is effortful. What did the previous bhikkhu who was lazy thought? He thought, oh, I went on a long trip. Now I'm really tired. I better sleep and lie down. So that is the difference. And the fifth is a bhikkhu has gone on the alms round and he doesn't get any food. So he thinks, okay, now I have not eaten, now I feel light. So now it's a good time for me to meditate and practice the Dhamma. So he even uses such a situation to develop the Dhamma, to practice the Dhamma. Okay? And then a bhikkhu has gone on the alms round and he has gotten lots of food. So he has had much enough to eat, and so he thinks, oh, now I'm very strong. I have lots of strength. So now I should arouse energy to practice the Dhamma. Okay, and and a bhikkhu who's energized, if he becomes a little bit ill, the way he thinks is, I'm a little bit ill. Okay, it's possible that my illness might grow worse. Okay, before that happens, let me practice the Dhamma now and quickly attain what is unattained. So that is the way energized person thinks. And once a bhikkhu has recovered from an illness, he thinks, I just recovered from an illness. It's possible that illness might come again. So before that illness comes, I should quickly practice this Dhamma. That is the way an effortful person thinks. So now you relate this to your life and see what is the way you think. Are you someone whose mind always inclines towards sleeping and lying down? Or are you someone whose mind always inclines towards being effortful? Okay? So this remember the teachers, if a person always uses the time he has to abandon what is unwholesome and develop what is wholesome, this remember the teachers, then that person has the second power, which is the power of energy. And the third power is, remember the teachers, the power of blamelessness. And that is, this remember the teachers here, a noble disciple engages in blameless bodily conduct, verbal conduct, and mental conduct. This is called the power of blamelessness. That is, he does not do anything through his body that is blameful. So that means he doesn't do anything wrong. He does not kill, he does not steal, he does not engage in sexual misconduct, he does not lie, he does not do anything that is blameful, that is unwholesome, that is dark. Okay? And he does not say anything He does not say anything that is unwholesome. He does not lie. He does not use harsh speech. He does not say empty speech. And he never says anything to break people's friendships or harmony. So his words are very pure. And the third is even what he thinks is very pure. His mind is also very pure. And so remember that teaches this is called the power of blamelessness. So in order to have this power, then you really need to have the first two powers. Without the first two powers, can you have this second power? You can't. Okay. Blameless means you're always doing the right thing through body, speech, and mind. So without the first two powers, which is the power of wisdom and the power of effort, you can never have this third power, which is the power of blamelessness. Okay. That's the third one. And the fourth one is, remember the teachers, the power of sustaining a favorable relationship. So what that means is the way you treat others. Okay, so remember the teachers of male devotees who's foremost in sustaining a favorable relationship is called Hatta Kalavaga. So that is when you if whether it could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be who's ever around you. You treat those people with these four things. And the first one is dana. Dana is giving. The second is called using endearing speech, endearing words. That is you're using pleasant speech when talking to your retinue or your group of people around you. That's the second one. Okay. The third is called you always guide them in the right path. And the fourth is called you always treat them equally. Okay. So now the Subramanian explains what these four are. Okay, so let me repeat the four. Okay, so when you have a group around you, could be your family, could be your friends, could be your co-workers, could be whomever. So when you're treating them, okay, you should have these four factors within your life. Okay, what are they? Giving. So you should treat them with giving, with endearing speech. The third one is you should always direct them in the right path. And the fourth is you should treat them equally. Okay. And this remember the teachers, because among gifts, among giving, among things you can give to your people, the best is the gift of the Dhamma. Because the best gift you can give to those around you is the gift of Dhamma. So everything else is below from there. So giving them food, giving them clothes, giving them a house, a place to stay, or whatever it is that they need. So all of those belong to giving. But here, this remember the teachers, the best thing that you can give as a gift to them is the Dhamma. Okay. Then this remember the teachers, among types of endearing speech. So in speaking to them nicely, speaking to them gently, this remember the teachers, the best among types of endearing speech, the best is repeatedly teaching the Dhamma to one who is interested in it and listens with eager ears. So what is the best endearing speech that you can give to your group? That is teaching the Dhamma to those who want to listen. Okay, so everything, all the other speech, all the other words are below from there. That is speaking to them nicely without using harsh words, without ever lying to them, speaking to them nicely with the words that touch their heart, always speaking the truth to them. Okay, so all of those are considered to be endearing speech, but among endearing speech, the best endearing speech is teaching or telling or speaking the Dhamma to them, speaking the Dhamma to those who want to hear. So, of course, if you teach Dhamma to those who don't want to hear it, then of course that's not going to be endearing speech. Okay. And so that's the second one. Okay. And the third one is, remember the teachers, what is beneficent conduct? That is, how are you going to guide them in the right path? And that is, remember the teachers, the best way of guiding them in the right path is to encourage and establish a person without faith in the accomplishment of faith. So that is, the best way to guide a person is if a person does not have confidence in the triple gem, you should try to help them to develop confidence in the triple gem. If a person is not virtuous, you should help that person to be virtuous. You should encourage him not to lie, not to engage in sexual misconduct, not to take intoxicating drinks and drugs. You should encourage that person to refrain from those wrong things. And if a person is very stingy, you should encourage that person and try to guide that person to give. Be generous. And if a person is unwise, you should try to help him to develop wisdom. Because remember the teachers, this is the best way to guide them in the right path. So all other guidances are below how do you call it? It's lower from there. That is the best way to guide a person. Make that person faithful, make that person virtuous, make that person generous, and make that person wise. And the fifth is treating others equally. Okay, treating others equally. And the Supreme Buddha teaches, in treating others equally, the best way to treat others to be equal to you is, Supreme Buddha teaches, the best is that a stream enterer is equal to a stream enterer. A once returner is equal to a once returner, and a non-returner is equal to a non-returner, and an arahant is equal to an arahant. So what does that mean? This is the best way. Okay, so this is the maximum equality that you can give to another person. That is, if you're a stream entrant, you should try to help those around you to also become a stream entrant. If you're a once returner, you should also help others around you to come to that level. That is the best way of treating another with equality. Everything else is below that. If you're a non-returner, you should try to help your group to come to that level. So that is because now usually, what is the usual mindset of an ordinary person? If a person has attained a high level, does he want others also to come to that level, or does he want others to be lower? The normal ordinary person doesn't want those around you to also come to the same level, because what he always wants to be better than others, right? But the proper way of treating others around you is to treat them equally. So treating equally means always treating them just the way you. For example, um, if you're using how can I explain it? So if you're eating in a certain way, right, you can also, when that person comes to your house, you can also treat that person the same way. Because there are some people, you eat very, very lavishly, very, very luxuriously, but if someone comes to your house, you treat that person in a very lower level. So that means you're not treating that person with equality. That's just an example that just came to my mind. Okay, so um, the best way to treat a person with equality is to always get that person to be your same level. For example, suppose you have a certain level of education, right? Because most people, when they have studied so high, they don't want their relatives, they don't want their friends to come to that level. They want to be the top. That is not the way. If you have a certain level of education, then you can also try others, encourage others to also come to the top. So these are just some examples that I'm just saying out of my mind. So that is not treating with equality. Okay, so see, in order to treat people with such equality, you need a very broad mind. Okay, and the teaches the best way to treat people with equality is if you have a certain level of realization, you should also try to help others to come to that level. And if a person treats others with these four factors, then Supreme Buddha teaches that is a power. Okay. And Supreme Buddha teaches, so now we have talked about all four powers. What are the four powers? The power of wisdom, the power of effort, the power of blamelessness, and the power of sustaining a favorable relationship. Okay. And the Supreme Buddha teaches, because these are the four powers, and when a noble disciple possesses these four powers, he has transcended five fears. Now, what is it? If a person has these four powers, he has transcended five fears. That is, he's free from these five fears. Okay, now let's see what these fears are. He's free from the fear of livelihood. He is free from the fear of disrepute. He is free from the fear of being scared and timid in going to assemblies. He is free from the fear of death. And he is free from the fear of being reborn in a bad destination. So see how beneficial those four powers are, right? The Supreme Buddha teaches, if a noble disciple has those four powers, that noble disciple reflects like this. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the fear of livelihood. Why should I be afraid of the fear of livelihood? I have the four powers. I have the power of wisdom. I have the power of energy. I have the power of blamelessness. And I have the power of sustaining a favorable relationship. An unwise person might be afraid of the fear of livelihood. A lazy person may be afraid of the fear of livelihood. A person who engages in blamable bodily conduct, verbal conduct, and mental conduct might be afraid of the fear of livelihood. A person who does not sustain a favorable relationship might be afraid of the fear of livelihood. But I am free from that fear. Free of the fear of livelihood means He has no doubts. He has no concerns about the way he has lived. Why would he have any concerns or regrets or any doubts about the way he has lived? Because he has those four powers. He knows the right from wrong, and he always makes the effort to do the right and abandon the wrong. And he has always done, said, and thought the right things, and he has always treated others the best that he could. Right? So therefore he has lived in the in the right way. He has not done anything. He has not done anything wrong during his life. So even to make money, even to get something that you want done, he has never done anything wrong. Now, for example, such a person, he would never do, and he would not ever do a single wrong thing in order to get something for himself, in order to get something done, okay, and to make money. That is the way you live. The way you live is very pure. That is called. So therefore, you don't have any fear about the way you have lived. Right? Many people at the end of their lives, they regret. They are so concerned about the way they have lived. They have engaged in fraud. They have done wrong things to people. They have done wrong things to earn a living. Right? But a person who has these four powers, he never has the fear of livelihood. His livelihood is pure. The way he has lived is pure. Even to do a meritorious act, such a person would never distress another person, never bother another person. All of his actions are so righteous and so pure. For you to understand what this pure livelihood is, I will give you an example. That is Arahant Sariputta. Okay, Arahant Sariputta. One day he got sick, and Arahant Moggallana came and asked Arahant Sariputta, "My friend, is there anything that we can do for you? Is there any medicine that we can get for your illness?" And Arhan Sariputta said, "Yes, there is this medicinal porridge. If I get that at home, when I used to get it, I used to recover." Okay. So Arhan Moggallana said, "Okay, well, you're very meritorious. I'm sure we will get it." Okay. Now this conversation was heard by a deva. Okay. And what this deva did is um, he went to one of the devotees of Arhan Sariputta, one of the devoted families of Arhan Sariputta, and this Deva, he entered one of the young girl's bodies, and through her, he said he said to the family, "Okay, tomorrow Arhan Moggallana is going to come. You better make this medicinal porridge and offer him." Okay. If you do it, I will leave this body, or else I will stay. Okay, so of course, these devotees were, faithful to Arhan Sariputta and Moggallana. So they said, okay, we will definitely make this offering. Okay, so that they were left. And the next day, they made the porridge and offered it to Arhan Moggallana. And Arhan Moggallana took it back to Arhan Sariputta. Okay, and so the exact medicine that Arhan Sariputta needs. At that moment, now if you all received a medicine that you needed by chance, how would you feel? Now you all are very sick, and then somebody comes and gives you the exact medicine that you need. How will you usually feel? You probably feel, oh, I'm very meritorious. It's because I have collected merit in the past that I have received this. I'm such a meritorious person. That's the way a normal person would think. so egoistically about yourself. But of course, Arahant Sariputta is free of ego. So Arahant Sariputta at that moment thought, no, this is a coincidence. How, I need this medicine. How did I get the exact medicine? And so he used his divine eye to see how this porridge was made, and he realized that a deva stressed out another person and made that family offer it. Okay, so of course they offered it with a pleasant mind. But Arahant Sariputta thought, no, this was done by distressing another person, because when a deva enters into the body, of course, that person experiences some distress, right? So Arahant Sariputta said, no, I don't want this. No, he's sick, he's greatly ill. Okay. Arahant Sariputta said, I don't want this because this was gained by distressing someone. So what he did, he took that porridge and he threw it away. So see, even if he's sick, he would not even take a medicine that was given by distressing somebody else. That is called pure livelihood. So that is one of the best examples that I can give you. So everything else is go from there. So in order to make a living, in the way you're living, in the way you're treating others, in while you're living, you never do anything wrong. So if a person lives like that, then that person has no fear of livelihood. And that person has no fear of disrepute. He never has to uh, because he knows that if the only thing he has done is the right, then of course you cannot be dispraised. You're right. So nobody can say anything bad about you. So he has no fear of having a disrepute, of having his reputation destroyed. So he has no fear. And he has no fear of going into a crowd. Okay. Now, if a person has done wrong things in his life, he is afraid. Now, if there's a family gathering, he's not very keen to go in because he's afraid, oh, I wonder if those people knows what I have done. Right? In his conscience always complains to him. But if a person has lived a pure life, then he can go into any assembly fearlessly, because there's nobody who can point a finger at him. Okay. Then the Srimad teaches, if a person has these four fears, he does not become afraid of death. He does not become afraid of death because all his life, and he does not become afraid of being reborn in a bad destination. Why would he be reborn in a bad destination? Because he have these four powers. He knows exactly the right from wrong, right? He can quickly recognize this is right, this is wrong, and he has the effort to abandon what is unwholesome and develop what is wholesome. And he has lived a blameless life, and he has treated everybody with those four factors. So he knows that he has collected merit into his life, he has lived a righteous life, so there's absolutely no way that he'll be reborn in a bad destination. So he can die peacefully because he knows, and without any fear, because he knows upon death he'll be reborn in the world of the Deva, so in a good world in his next life. Okay, so therefore, Srimad teaches, because in this way, when a noble disciple possesses these four powers, he has gone beyond, he has become free from these five fears. So he lives happily in this life, and he knows his afterlife will be happy. Okay, and of course, if a person has wisdom, then that is a sign that that person will definitely develop the Dhamma path, and attain Nibbana. So may this beautiful Dhamma help all of us to also develop these four powers in our lives as well, and be free from those five fears, and develop the Dhamma path, realize the noble truths, and attain Nibbana in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.